It's a really bright sunny day today. So I thought of talking about how was my experience when I came to US for the first time. Did I get the so-called culture shock? Because of course things are different, but how different are they? Like did I feel a lot of difference or was I okay? So we're gonna talk about that today. First of all, what is culture shock? So, by definition, culture shock is a feeling of disorientation when you actually move or visit a new place, new country, or like a new culture. So it's basically like things that you've noticed which are really different from your home country or the place you grew up. When you actually move to a new place or you are exposed to a new culture. So I didn't get like super shocked as to like what is happening to me, and things like that, but I did feel like little like little bit of culture shocks here and there, like small things that are different when I look at India or the region of India that I grew up in versus when I came to US. So there are actually many. I still get some even now, but I'm going to talk about five of them today. Most like something that's like pretty common, and most people who come from foreign countries or from India would probably face this. So I'm going to talk about that. So before getting into that, if you're new here, I'm Sharvani, and I make videos related to career and productivity. Right now, I'm focusing on videos related to studying in US and like coming to US in general. So if this is something that you're interested in, please consider subscribing to my channel. I'll be making more such videos. So I came to US as a student. So some of my experiences might be different from people who would have come for other reasons, like who would have come as a tourist or someone who came for some professional reasons or any other reason. But I've tried to keep like talk about more general things that I think most people would face. So first of all, I have to talk about expenses. Again, it's a very common and obvious point, but you don't realize it until you really come here and like start spending. So I mean, the things are like so expensive, and it's just something like in your head that you when you're new you just start like like multiplying, calculating everything based on your like currency of your hometown or your native country. So at that time I would like literally like anything I would just multiply it with like 65 or whatever the current rate was or near about. And at that rate, just think of like coffee, which is like for $5. I mean, I would like automatically it'll be like about 350 bucks, or Indian rupees. By bucks I mean, or like a meal, it's like for $10-12, like a basic, like not like a very expensive meal I'm talking about, not like any fancy restaurant, but a basic meal would be like $10 or $12. So it's like automatically again like 650 700 Indian rupees, which at that time I felt like it was a lot. So yeah, so I was like, okay, do I really want that coffee? Or I mean, anyway, I'm not like a huge coffee drinker, but like things, like do I really want that ice cream, or do like maybe I don't, like those kind of things. So I felt like that really happened initially with me. I'm guilty. I sometimes still do it. I mean, not with food anymore, but sometimes like like general, very rare, but still. So like that's when you actually that whole free food like gets so special. You're like free food, free food, free food. So people are like, oh, let's just have it, and the food is really good. They'll have dessert and everything, and they have free food. So you students never, like especially international students, never miss the opportunity to get that free food. I wouldn't like. In fact, actually, everyone. The concept of free food is like a lot here. Everyone is like like everyone's like into free food. But really, jokes apart, my recommendation for anyone coming to the US, especially students, would be that don't think too much. Like don't think so much about like every dollar you're spending, because you know what happens is then you don't enjoy anything that you're actually having or doing, or you don't enjoy, like you're probably cutting down on things that you shouldn't, and later on you'll realize that, like when you start earning, you'd feel like it wasn't something that you should have done. So I would say, like, don't keep on like cutting on like one coffee, should I have it or not, a meal, should I have it or not. Maybe you can try, what you can try doing is, you can, like make a budget, if kind of like get an idea of how much you want to spend every month, and then like kind of try not to cross that. So in that way, you'll not be like extravagant and you'll not spend too much, but then you'll also not deprive yourself from things that you should be having. So next is education. I'm really sorry about the sun. Yeah, it's a little bit harsh. For education, the education system in general is a bit different here. Like, let's say for us, like when you come for masters, or I guess for undergrads, or PhD, anything. So you actually get to choose your courses before, like a lot of your courses before. I mean, you can actually sit in the classes and then, like see how the course is, how you feel about it. So, based on this, you can actually decide which course you want to take or you don't want to take, or which subject you want to take or not take. I feel like this really helps, in taking the right courses that can actually help in giving our career a right direction, or like kind of giving a better direction to our career. So I really like that about it. Another thing I noticed is that kids here are really honest. Like, like many times we've been in a situation where there's like no invigilator, there's no one actually looking at us when we are taking the tests, and no one cheats. Like, there has been like incidences when there are some students who really have to leave for some place urgently, or like they have some work, so they actually can take the test or the exam beforehand, and then they have like so much integrity, they wouldn't tell, like they'll not tell others like what the questions are, right? And even with assignments, you are just sitting at home and like preparing your assignments, so they trust you that you're not gonna cheat, and you also kind of have that honesty that you will just do it yourself and not really like discuss it with people, or like sit together and do it, or like, so that kind of thing, like like there's so much honesty, and I feel like the good thing about that is, since you're doing everything yourself, you are actually learning so much, like every single assignment that you're doing, you are learning from that. So I think that is really great. So, related to this, I also want to talk about independence. Like, kids here in general are quite independent. Like, at least I mean, even in India, I feel like kids are really, really independent. But at least for me, or when I was growing up, or I can talk about myself and people around me, we were mostly like, like you're taken care of so much, and especially like when you're studying, I don't think there's like there was a concept of like study earning while studying. So we always had this concept of like, um first you finish your studies and then you're supposed to work, like that timeline kind of a thing, like one step and then next step. But here, I was so amazed that kids just work part. People, students, I mean, by kids, I mean like students or anyone. So they work part time, and no one like shies from working hard. Like, people are doing jobs while studying. There are so many. I mean, even in my class, there were like. My friends who were like working part time in retail stores and cafes, in Uber. Like, a lot of people do Uber. Like, sometimes I find like Uber drivers who are like students, or like, I mean, that, which is like so great. I mean, I really had like two friends who would drive buses, and I was like, wow, like during the undergrad studies, like part time, and I was like so amazed. Because with us, I mean, we are like, I mean, at least for me, I didn't think of that when at least I was studying in India. But here I think eventually I felt like, yes, I mean, it's a great thing. If you're getting the opportunity to do anything, you should. And that's when I like started doing internships, working on campus and off campus. And I feel like any kind of work, and working part-time, you get the money, yes, but you get so many experiences. You learn so much, and nothing can replace those experiences, and you'll realize that later. And like, even like with kids, if they want to go for a trip, I see like, like, even if the parents can afford it, they kind of encourage kids to earn their own money to sponsor their own trip. And I think it's great, and I see this happening in India also, which really, like, I'm excited about that, and I'm really happy about that. Okay, so this brings me to the third point, which is help. Okay, so you don't get that much help as you would get in India. Like, like in India, you have cooks, you have like drivers. Even if you don't have those, like a basic, like cleaning person, or what we call a domestic help or a maid, we definitely have that. I mean, not everyone, but most Indian households have that. But here, it's not a common thing. Okay, so everyone does their work themselves. And for us, like coming from India, in general, you are not used to doing everything. I'm not saying again that everyone doesn't do work. People do a lot of. Kids are like, they do a lot of work. But at least, like, I mean, there are people who would do cooking or a little bit of, like doing the, I mean, of course I also used to wash my clothes and stuff. It's not like I didn't do anything. I was not like a, like some queen or anything. But the thing is, um like, you're not used to doing everything. Like, initially when you come here, I mean, if in your head it's like it's not a big deal, but trust me, it gets a lot. Like, you have to take care of everything first of all. So, like most of us, you're cooking, you're cleaning, you're doing groceries, you're washing the dishes, or if you have a dishwasher, you're putting it in the dishwasher, then paying your bills. And one thing, like, I'm not like the greatest of the visual persons. So one thing is, like, people install their things themselves too, like your IKEA furniture, or like small things, like some electric work they would do themselves. So I'm not great at that. So for me, that's a challenge. So, like, I mean, of course, you can call someone for certain things, but A, it's very expensive. B, usually it's like you don't, I mean, you're supposed to be that much independent, you should be that much independent. So initially, I had those small things. But I think now I've kind of become really independent with those things, and I kind of enjoy that. I like to do things myself. I kind of like, earlier I had like a cleaning person because I was not getting time, and it was getting really hectic. But now I've kind of like made it once a month, because I kind of like don't want to like depend on someone for my, like my day, like based on when they are coming, like you have to plan everything accordingly. So I kind of love being independent. I love taking care of myself. Like, even if it's tough, I enjoy it. Like, it's like, doing my own grocery, or cooking, or washing my clothes, or cleaning my home. Like, I like doing it. So it kind of just makes me, I mean, I feel like I can take care of myself. So while it does feel great, it takes time to adjust to it. So initially you're gonna feel the, initially you're gonna find it difficult. Okay, so I love food, and how can we not talk about food? I feel like everyone probably loves food. So, fourth point is food. So many things related to food. So, first of all, let me talk about the portion size. Guys, it's huge. And second, if you want to eat like yummy junk food, it's very cheap. Um, but if you really want to eat healthy, it's expensive. Like, it's really expensive. Take an example: you can get a burger or fries for like $3 to $5, but if you want a good salad, it's like 10 or up dollars. And if you want organic or like freshly picked ingredients, it gets more expensive. So yes, healthy eating is expensive. And another thing is, like, the way the goods are priced in the stores. I mean, it doesn't make any economic sense at all to me. It's not linear, of course. I mean, I understand it's not supposed to be linear if you're buying something in bulk, but it's like crazy. It's like you get a can of Coke for like, let's say $1, then you can get like 12 for $3 or $4, which doesn't make sense. And then similarly, like for ice cream, like let's say you're buying a bar for $3, and then 12 is for $7 or $8, which is like crazy. I mean, okay, fine, I don't buy that much, but movie theater popcorns, I mean, it's like, I think it's $6 or $7 for small, 50 cents more for medium, and just like $1 more for tub, which is like really a lot. And then you can actually get a free refill with the popcorn tub, which is like for $8 or $9 or something. So the thing is, like, like you end up just buying either more than what you need, or you end up wasting a lot of food. So I also have to mention ice. Like, this was like really shocking for me, because first of all, I live in San Francisco, and it's not like the coldest places. They really think it's hot, and the weather is quite good here. But when I came here for the first time, I literally would wear socks and like jackets. I mean, look at me, I'm still wearing a jacket. People are like not really wearing jackets. So I'm like always cold here. And I don't think I would ever drink ice water with like lots of ice in November. But people would be like, like first time, like I think it was like one of my internships. So they had like, they were having like lots of ice, and so the amount of ice they take, I mean, let's say your glass, they would take like, if I am having a drink, I would probably take like 1 cube or 2 cubes of ice, and that's it. Or maybe if I'm like super generous, I would like maybe have 1/4 glass of uh, 1/4 glass of ice. I think that's still too much, but that's like the maximum. But here it's like 3/4 is ice and little bit of it is soda. Oh, and by the way, soda they call Coke or cold drink soda. So that also I learned later. But anyway, so yeah, so like that's the thing. So 3/4 or even more of ice, which doesn't make sense to me. At least, I mean, that I cannot do it. So I always ask for like water without ice, or I can have little bit of ice. So yeah, so that I have to say like was a culture shock, like not culture shock, but like a shock for me. Okay, so now that we're talking about food, fifth point or fifth shock was timings for me. Okay, so it's funny, like, I mean, so like usually the timings for lunch is like about 11:30 a.m. to 12 here, and dinner is like people are done with dinner by 6, and they go to bed many times by 9. And in India, I think, and in India, 6 is like, like chai and snacks or chai biscuit time. And so for me, that was different. So it happened many times with me, like when we have gone like at 11:30 a.m. for team lunches, or like max is like 12. And for dinners, like literally I have gone as early as 5:30 when the dinner actually starts at 6, and I've had like dinner at 6 many times. So I mean, I don't have dinner at like 10, but still like 7:30, like 8, 6 has been too early for me. So these were the 5 points that I wanted to talk about today. Little bit boring, but do let me know if you want me to talk more about culture shocks in different places, or in general what's so much different here as compared to India. Be it work, be it like school, or in general life. And if you want me to make like another video related to this with like more experiences or more shocks that can be there, do let me know in the comment section below. And if you're too lazy to type, just type 2, and I'll know that okay, that's what you want, and then I'll think of not think of, I have many in my head, but then I'll talk more about it in another video. And also do let me know in the comment section below, what was your experience when you traveled to US from your home country, or any other country abroad from your home country? Did you get culture shocks? What were your experiences? And even if you haven't traveled, I mean, what you can let me know about, like what is your idea of culture shock that a person can get when they travel abroad. So I would be really happy to know those. take care, and we'll see you next time with another video where I'll be talking about things that you should be packing or things that you need to pack when you're coming to US for the first time. Till then, take care and stay healthy and happy.